Let me take you on a journey. A journey that begins with a simple question. Why do some people leap into the unknown while others hesitate at the edge? I recently read a book called The Art of Risk, and it didn't just answer that question. It transformed the way I think about fear, decision-making, and the very nature of courage. It's not a book about thrill-seekers or daredevils. It's about all of us, ordinary people who face extraordinary choices every day. Whether it's switching careers, starting a business, speaking your truth, or simply trying something new, risk is everywhere. And this book teaches us that risk isn't something to be feared. It's something to be understood, trained for, and even embraced. The journey begins with a myth we've all believed at some point, that risk takers are fearless, that they're wired differently, that they don't feel the anxiety, the hesitation, the pounding heart. But the truth is, they do. Every single one of them. The difference is in how they respond to fear. The Art of Risk explains that fear isn't a flaw, it's a feature. It's our brain's way of alerting us to uncertainty. But uncertainty isn't always danger. Sometimes, it's opportunity in disguise. The author breaks down the neuroscience behind risk in a way that's both fascinating and practical. Our brain has three key systems that come into play when we face a risky decision. First, there's the amygdala, the alarm bell. It's the part that screams, "Watch out," when something feels threatening. Then there's the prefrontal cortex, the wise elder. It analyzes, reasons, and draws from past experiences. And finally, the dopamine system, the thrill seeker. It rewards us with excitement and anticipation when we chase something meaningful. When these systems are in harmony, we make smart, balanced decisions. But when fear hijacks the amygdala, or thrill overrides logic, we either freeze or leap without thinking. That's why understanding how our brain works is the first step toward mastering risk. But the book doesn't stop at science. It dives into the emotional landscape of risk. It tells us that fearlessness is not the goal. In fact, fear is essential. It's the signal that we are stepping outside our comfort zone. And that's where growth lies. Think about it. Every major breakthrough in your life probably came after a moment of fear. That job interview you almost skipped. That conversation you were afraid to have. That decision that made your heart race. Fear isn't the enemy. It's the compass pointing toward transformation. Then comes one of the most empowering ideas in the book. Risk tolerance can be built. You don't have to be born bold. You can become bold. Just like muscles grow with exercise, your ability to handle uncertainty grows with practice. The author shares stories of people who started small, taking tiny risks, making minor changes, and gradually expanded their comfort zone. It's like learning to swim. You don't start in the deep end. You begin in the shallow water, get used to the feel, and slowly venture further. Whether it's speaking up in a meeting, trying a new hobby, or reaching out to someone you admire, every small risk is a step toward confidence. And then there's training and exposure, a chapter that truly reshapes how we think about preparation. Risk isn't about spontaneity. It's about strategy. Firefighters don't just run into burning buildings, they train for it. Surgeons don't just operate. They rehearse procedures, study outcomes, and prepare for complications. Athletes don't just perform. They visualize, practice, and condition their minds. The book shows us that risk takers aren't reckless, they're ready. And readiness comes from repetition, simulation, and reflection. So if you want to take smarter risks, start preparing like a professional. One of my favorite parts of the book is the chapter on intuition. We often dismiss gut feelings as vague or unreliable. But intuition, the author explains, is actually a powerful tool, built from experience, pattern recognition, and subconscious processing. It's your brain's way of saying, "I've seen this before." But intuition alone isn't enough. The best decisions come when intuition is paired with logic. It's like flying a plane. You need instruments, but you also need instinct. The book encourages us to trust our gut, but verify with data. That balance is where wisdom lies. Then we explore personality and risk profiles. Some people are naturally more comfortable with uncertainty. They thrive on change, challenge, and novelty. Others prefer stability, routine, and predictability. And that's okay. But what's exciting is that your risk profile isn't fixed. It can evolve. Through intentional practice, mindset shifts, and exposure, you can become more adaptable. If you're someone who avoids risk, start with low-stakes challenges. If you're someone who jumps too quickly, learn to pause and assess. The goal isn't to be extreme, it's to be effective. The book also touches on social and cultural influences. Our upbringing, environment, and even the people around us shape how we perceive risk. If you grew up in a household where failure was punished, you might fear taking chances. If you were encouraged to explore, you might embrace uncertainty. Recognizing these influences helps us rewrite our internal narratives. We stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if I grow?" And finally, the book ends with a message that stays with you long after the last page. Risk is not a gamble, it's a gateway. It's not about being fearless, it's about being prepared. It's not about ignoring danger, it's about understanding it. The art of risk teaches us that anyone can become a smart risk taker. All it takes is awareness, practice, and the courage to step forward even when the outcome isn't guaranteed. So the next time you're standing at the edge of a decision, whether it's personal, professional, or emotional, don't just ask, "Is this risky?" Ask, "Is this meaningful? Am I ready? Will this help me grow?" And if the answer is yes, take that step. Because risk isn't the enemy. It's the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become.